Hello, welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz, and I will be guiding you on this journey today. This is a reading for the 2-5 or Hermit Heretic profile in human design. If you don't know what your profile is, there's a link in the description below to get your human design body graph. For the purposes of these readings, we're just going based off profile. But I am also doing zodiac sign readings this month. So definitely be sure to check out your sun and rising. Definitely your rising. But be sure to check those out once it's uploaded if it's not already. And yeah, let's get an oracle card for you. I woke up in a great mood. Which that is not common for me. So I just remember thinking, like, I'm laying there. I think my dog was even surprised. But I was just like, man, imagine waking up like this every day. Like, please. No, anyway, I am just a moody bee. So anyway, we're rolling with it. So I hope things are going well with you. This is a beautiful card. Beautiful. It says dream a beautiful dream. Number 19. I don't know why I feel like I've seen 19 around somewhere. I love that. I mean, of course, even just, you know, having the image of the earth there, it feels very world card. And, you know, that song, is it a Girl Scout song? I don't know if it is specifically a Girl Scout song. I know I learned it in Girl Scouts. He's got the whole world in his hands. There's way too many cards. It's truly like that feeling of like the sky's the limit. We're, you know, our biggest limitation is what am I trying to say? And I feel like I'm getting caught on like the word limit. I'm like, why do I keep saying the word limitation or limit? We have the Knight of Wands, which I actually thought was the Five of Swords. It is not. It's the Knight of Wands, the Page of Cups. But we're only limited by the extent of our own imagination. Like, there's some saying like that, like, really let your imagination go wild, truly wild, right? Like, we have the Knight of Swords, Eight of Pentacles, the Fool, oops, one more. The Death card, okay, and the Empress at the bottom of the deck. All right, so let me just make sure everything is in frame, and then of course we'll start talking about your reading. Okay, let's see what the book has to say. I probably won't read this whole thing because the messages are a little on the longer side, but we'll see how far we get. It says the urge to create is the same within you as it is for the universal creator. It also has the same magical ability to draw harmony into being and to find beautiful order in chaos. This includes bringing harmony and the perfect balance of well-being into your body, mind, and emotions. This is also the part of you that wants to dream of beauty and bring it to life in as many ways as possible, and in how you eat, dress, look, behave, make love, create art, relate to your community, write your poetry by moonlight, or bathe by candlelight. If you have come to believe that your love of beauty is superficial rather than a genuine expression of your heart's appreciation of symmetry, harmony, and grace, then you may block your ability to create harmony in your life. You may believe it to be an unworthy goal. Yet beauty, genuine beauty rather than superficial glamour, flows from within. It is an expression of radiance within the heart and a love of life. If you have struggled with the obsessive attitude towards beauty that tends to prevail in human culture, then it is time to look to nature instead. Her beauty is boundless, quirky, and endlessly diverse. If you feel blocked, thwarted, or contaminated by others in your quest to bring your beautiful dreams to life, you may feel that your heart is dulled, minimized, or shut down. Small-mindedness can limit beauty to a very narrow physical sense. However, you can shun the social disease of superficial, narrow definitions of beauty, thumb your nose at airbrushed images, and dare to love what is. This oracle comes with a particular message for you. There's a situation in your life right now where you feel uncertain about your ability to fix or heal. You lack the inspiration to be able to imagine it differently than how it currently seems to be. You may therefore feel inhibited by your ability to bring about a constructive change. However, the perfect beauty of this situation is not revealed by what you attempt to do to it or through trying to impose the right dream upon it. It is to be healed and perfected into all that it can be through the revelation of the beauty that already lies within it. You can overcome resistance and denial by approaching it with a curious mind, an open heart, and the healing process below. And then it says, by the way, this oracle has come to you because you have the power to be a positive influence in whatever situation holds the most meaning for you right now. And you need to know that. I love that. I love that. So yeah, let's get into the cards here. I kind of love that these two cards, I have like the darker vibe to them, and everything else doesn't. I don't know. I just kind of like the way that that looks. But I love this Knight of Wands because, you know, I was singing. He's got the whole world in his hands at the beginning. So wands are fire, right? And he's holding this little fire. I keep calling it a nymph. I'm not sure if that's even the right term for it, but this little fire being in his hands, I should say. And wands have to do with action. It's the motivation behind the actions that we take, creativity, passion, right? And that oracle card was talking about it. But how are you communicating those things? What actions are you taking towards your creativity? I wanted to say creation. And your passions. I also see wands as being information because that's generally what we get by trying things, right? We figure out what works, what doesn't work, what do we like, what don't we like, what stays, what goes, right? And the only way, for me anyway, to figure those things out is by trying stuff. So, you know, the Knight of Wands is the one that is taking action on their passions. They are creating something. They realize that they have this little being in their hands, right? And it's like, where can I set it up for the most success? We have this person back here, which I don't know if you'll be able to see, but there's like stones on the ground. So it's almost like they found the perfect place to house this little flame and like build a campfire basically. And I know that because in the Queen of Wands, she has a campfire going. I know we don't have that on the table, but this is the process though of actually taking action towards those things. Like the pages are like, okay, I do have this desire. I have this thing that I want to bring into creation. Now it's like, okay, how do I get that going, right? What can I try? And the Knight of Wands is actually going for it. So I love that. I love that imagery is there too. it's like finding your thing, right? I mean, especially with the second line, you know, like that they call the second line the easy breezy genius or whatever sometimes, because there is just a natural aptitude that comes with you guys. Like there is something that you're good at. Maybe you really enjoy the thing. It comes naturally to you, so but you don't see it as, you know, like this little flame because you're like, oh, you know, I mean, anybody could do this. No, you know, I mean, maybe, but not, you know, not everybody has a second line. So, and then of course with that fifth line, you know, universalizing it, practical, putting it into practical use type of thing. And then it's paired with the Eight of Pentacles. So it could have something to do with your work. It could be discovering what it is that you actually enjoy doing and that you actually want to put your physical time into mastering. Pentacles have to do with our money, how we get it, how we save it, how we spend it. It's our physical time, like where are we physically showing up in our lives? It's our physical body, of course, too, and our health. Anything that we put value on, anything we find worthy, including ourselves. And the Eight of Pentacles, we can see them, you know, building this wall here. So it does have this energy of showing up, putting in the work, even just the repetitive nature of something so that you can master it. You know, I mean, like I keep kind of focusing on these 3 stones down here because they look like they're different sizes, and I keep hearing in my head, it's like even just knowing how to place things properly because you've done it so many times. It's something that, I mean, you could literally just look at and be like, no, I know that that goes there, or that's going to work with that, or that'll look good with this. And it's interesting too that the book was even talking about you know, creativity and expressing that in some capacity. It was also even talking about being inspired by nature, which, you know, I mean, stones are literally created by natural elements, right? So yeah, you know, this could have to do with your work. It could even be building a business or building a home, building a community, because it is definitely going to be something based on your passion. There's something here that you're like really honing in on with the Knight of Wands. And then we have the Page of Cups. Cups having to do with our emotions, how we feel about our lives, how we feel about ourselves, how we feel about the people around us, how we feel about what we're doing. I love that we have one of every element out here too, and the other cards are major arcana cards. So this feels very balanced. There's the grounded aspect with earth, there's the fire aspect and, you know, taking action, going for it. The cups having to do with, you know, like your emotions being led by your heart, really. And then of course swords is all about mindset and ideas, inspiration. But going back to the Page of Cups, pages are like, for me, I see them as being like the apprentices, the newbies. They already have the Ace of Cups in their hand over here, right? So the Ace of Cups is already present. Now it's like, okay, they have this map on the floor. They're on this boat that's like in this choppy ass water. Do you think it looks like they care what the water is doing out there? They're so focused on that map and where they're going. So it really is just this message of being sure, or just even checking in with yourself, how you're feeling about things, especially if everything outside of you is chaotic, even if your own emotions, regardless of if you are emotionally defined or not, especially if, it starts feeling a bit roller coastery or even just choppy, like this, right? Really checking in with your heart center, like, how am I feeling about this? Does it still feel good to be heading in this direction, regardless of outside stimuli, right? And if it does feel good, then keep going. And also, even to like strategy and authority, which, is the most important thing. Obviously, if you're emotionally defined, right? That would be one thing. If you're not, then check in with your strategy and authority, because really our strategy and authority is there to help us enter into the correct, quote unquote, correct experiences for us. And then our profile is how we interact with the energies, the people, whatever, in those experiences. So it's a really good time to get familiar with your strategy and authority. And also, again, even getting really familiar with how your body is reacting to things. Does it feel good? Literally, that's it, right? Yes or no? And if it doesn't, what little tweaks? It doesn't have to be like a full pivot, but like what could change this to feel good, right? Even like doing these readings, for an example, there was a time where it didn't feel as good to do human design and zodiac sign readings. And it was scary a little bit, like to not do all of them. Like, I thought it was, just gonna make everything flop and whatever. Like, I just got worried. I just got scared, but I was like, okay, it does feel good. And for me, I'm a manifesting generator, so I feel like I was also even just responding to like the level of time that I had, the level of energy that I had to give to it. And when I got this little, this message to focus on human design profile readings only, it did ultimately feel good to do that. It was just my mind that was like, ew. I don't know. And actually, I had a great response. I had more engagement on just doing those videos than astrology videos. So I think it was great. It worked out well. And then this month, as I was like getting ready, gearing up, kind of getting everything together, choosing decks that I wanted to use, I got this little fluttering, this little message about reintroducing zodiac readings, and that felt good. So here we are, right? Again, it's just checking in, and I am emotionally defined. So, but that's more about like waiting for your emotional wave, like waiting for the high, waiting for the low, getting to that neutral point. But again, just checking in, like, does it actually feel good? Regardless of what my mind is saying. Okay, I feel like I'm kind of beating a dead horse with that. So we have it paired with the Fool card, which I love. I love everything. I love everything about tarot all the time anyway, so I know I say that a lot, but this is taking a leap of faith. It's a brand new beginning. Taking a risk. Again, this is a lot of trusting the process and surrendering. Because again, right, like even that little story that I was saying, right, it was a risk to take out literally half of the content that I was putting out at the time. And trusting that that was the best thing for me to do, and I 100% believe that it was. So whatever, this process is, it's not like this doesn't necessarily feel like going in a completely different direction. I mean, it really could just be some sort of guidance that you get from within yourself about taking a leap towards something, doing something. I mean, even getting on this ship with this map in your cup, that is a leap of faith. Trusting to that, I mean, you'll even make it through that storm type of thing, right? So this could even just be a message about trusting, surrender. I mean, they have their eyes closed. They're not even looking at where they're walking, and they're like literally walking right off that cliff. But also, it's like they know that there will be a net that catches them, or the path will open for them as they take those steps forward. And it absolutely does. And then we have the Knight of Swords. Another knight. They're literally right in the middle of this maze. Like I said, swords have to do with our mindset, our ideas, inspiration, our belief system. Also truth and honesty, but like divine truth, divine honesty, which is absent of any emotion, because then it kind of becomes an opinion. I also see swords as being the suit of ego, because that's generally where we hear our ego is, in our minds. And I mean, we could feel it in our body, of course, but we generally hear it in our mind. And our ego is created by the stories that we attach to experiences, to feelings, to beliefs, right? Whether they're true or not, and whether they're ours or not. I mean, maybe, somebody told you at some point that you're too much, you're too little, you're too loud, you're too quiet, you're too whatever. Especially having two profile lines that come with a projection. I'm sure there's been plenty of people who have told you incorrectly, no doubt, who you are. And also, no doubt, at some point, you took those things on to be truths for you. And it became part of your identity, your personality, your temperament. But we're adults now, for the most part, right? And we get to decide if those stories are true or not. Most times they're not, especially with that fifth line. So the Knight of Swords, and the Knight of Swords is the fastest moving knight in the whole deck. This is like, an idea that just hits you. Truly. I mean, look, they're holding the Ace of Swords here, which is the sword of truth, right? And it's touching this, like, this orb of light, whatever that is. So there could be an idea that just drops right in. It could even be thinking about yourself differently, because of course it can also be like discovering a truth about yourself, or honoring a different truth about yourself, even expressing yourself truthfully and like authentically to you. And like I said, they are in the middle of this maze, and that maze is your mind. So there's even just this focus on this idea. Same as there in the Knight of Wands, there's a focus on this, on the fire, on the passion, on the what you desire. There's clearly like a lot of movement here though. Definitely like moving towards something. And especially like with the two knights that we have out here, they're the ones that are out there, like on the front lines or whatever. Like they're the ones that are out there doing the things, putting beliefs into practice, or if they have a perspective change, it's putting that into practice and seeing if it holds water, or even just acting towards communicating an idea too. And then we have the Death card, which is Scorpio. I believe the Fool card is associated to Uranus, which is in Taurus right now. Wherever Taurus is in your chart, not that that matters, but the Death card is, anytime I see the Death card, I always say, every new beginning disguises itself as an end. So it's interesting that we have two cards of new beginnings here. One is like that decision, the trust, the surrender, the risk, deciding to walk off that cliff. Not literally, don't do that. And then this card is making a decision to end a cycle. This could even just be a behavior pattern, a thought pattern, the way that you go about things. It could be a relationship. But the Death card has more to do with rebirth than it does with death, but it's honoring that there is something that needs to come to an end so that the new thing can be. I love in this card that there's kind of this invitation to go within. It's like they're opening the veil, and it's that whole thing of the only way out is in. But again, even like I was talking about with the Knight of Swords, I think it's like expressing yourself truthfully. And I'm just kind of getting that vibe about even the phrase, the only way out is in. Because by going within, right? I mean, we do discover truths about ourselves. We also discover what is not true. So, and then that allows us to live more in our truth. Eventually, hopefully, right? And then we have the Empress at the bottom of the deck. This is Taurus or Libra, Venus. I think Venus is, where's Venus? Is it still in Aquarius? I can't even remember. So it must not be important. This is about creation though. It's the divine feminine. The energy, not necessarily the gender, but again, reproduction in the sense of birthing something, creating something, and then the ability to recreate that continuously, right? So there is this message of abundance that comes with the Empress. Generally, she is pregnant. So again, that's kind of where the reproduction thing comes from. But if you're not looking to expand your family, then it is, the fertility of opportunities. Fertile ground. Planting seeds, watching them grow, right? Intuition, receiving. This would be like creating art. And it doesn't have to be like painting, Your art form could be, I don't know why I'm like, oh my God, why is this the only thing that's coming to my head is like being a mechanic? But, it could be some sort of trade. It could be, being in a support role, whatever it is, right? It doesn't, my point is just that it doesn't have to be like literal art, like, paintbrush on a canvas type of thing. We have the Page of Pentacles. Again, there's this key here, discovering the key to something. They found it. Even the nature element, and like I said, you know, the book was talking about being inspired by nature. This definitely has this like feeling of being on a journey. And the Page of Pentacles is like the literal apprentice. They are like the new person. You know, when you start a new job and you're like that person that doesn't know that much for however long, and you know, give it a couple weeks or a couple months, and um you can't even remember like what it was like to be new, you know? So it's even just like this energy of like allowing yourself to be new at something. The Knight of Cups, so we have this progression from the Page of Cups to the Knight of Cups. And this Knight of Cups to me feels like showing up and doing the work. I mean, literally, right? Like this could even be emotional labor in some capacity. But, you know, where the Page of Cups was primarily focused on the map, the Knight is fully invested in getting this ship through these crazy ass waters. Because now you're dedicated. Now you're like, no, I'm not giving this thing up. And then we have the Moon card, which is Cancer. This has this feeling of like co-creation. There is a new moon, I believe, coming up this weekend. I believe that there's an eclipse like further in March and then again in April. That could have some impact on things. But the moon generally talks about the unconscious, even our emotional body, because our moon in our natal charts, that's, you know, where or how we express emotion. But it also talks about the things that have yet to be revealed. So there's kind of even like a secretive aspect to it. Secrets could be unveiled. There could be things that come up that you just didn't expect. I love this. I love this for you. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I will talk to you soon. Bye.